Tanzania is the largest country in East Africa. In its northwestern corner, bordering with Rwanda, lies the Ngara district, an isolated, underdeveloped, extremely poor region, and home to 320,000 indigenous people. It is also home to an inspiring story, a story of hope, connection, and love. A story that is just beginning. Here is that story. The name Tanzania conjures up images of beautiful snow-capped peaks of Mount Kilimanjaro, vast wildlife of the Serengeti National Park, and bleached white sands of the Zanzibar beaches. No outsiders would ever have heard of the region of Ngara had it not been the point of escape for 480,000 refugees during the genocide in Rwanda in 1994. Tent cities were erected in this area to provide shelter and safety to the refugees for more than 10 years. When they returned home, they left their impoverished host land devastated. To date, the Ngara district still has not recovered, and the affected towns and villages struggle daily just to survive. The district has remained dissected by a major road that connects the port city of Dar es Salaam with the capital of Rwanda, Kigali. The transient traffic of long-distance trucks along this route has left behind unwanted consequences like HIV/AIDS. Young families have immigrated to distant locations looking for work, forced to leave their elder members behind. The social, educational, and economic structures have remained crippled. Two groups particularly affected by these unprecedented circumstances are the abandoned elderly and the at-risk youths of the tent city villages. Tanzanians traditionally take care of their elderly at home. There are no nursing homes, no pensions or government benefits for them. Without family support, elderly people in this area must procure water and food for themselves every day and maintain the soundness of their huts. In their advanced ages, these elders find themselves in need of assistance, yet are totally alone. The social aftermath of the refugees' stay in the Ngara district has played havoc with the well-being of the children and adolescents of the local villages. Poverty and near total absence of job opportunities have annihilated the youth's chances of eventually becoming educated, skilled workers. Teens and young men and women in their 20s and 30s have no marketable skills, no education, and no future. They are at high risk for various illegal activities. Enter into this picture Sister Dativa Daniel Mukebita, a Roman Catholic Franciscan sister of Saint Bernadette and a native of this same region. Sister Dativa studied and worked in the United States for 13 years, primarily with the elderly, which turned out to be providential. A few months before Sister Dativa returned definitively to her community's mother house in Tanzania, she heard a story that both upset and inspired her. An elderly woman living alone fell and broke her hip. When her neighbors didn't see her, they checked on her and found her lying on the ground. She had been there for 3 days without food or water. A neighbor transported the woman immediately by bicycle to the local dispensary. On the way, she died. When Sister Dativa heard of this, she was heartbroken, not because the old woman had died, but because of how she died. From this tragedy emerged the core idea of what was to become the Village Angels of Tanzania program. The objective was to help two marginalized groups of the Ngata population, the abandoned elderly poor and the unemployed, unskilled youth. The Village Angels of Tanzania recruits local unemployed young people to provide weekly visits to the local elderly poor, bringing them food, basic supplies, and in some cases, house repairs to protect against the heavy rains. At the Benako farm, the headquarters of the program, the youths cultivate and harvest crops, are taught handicrafts like basket weaving and skills like building beds from trees. They also receive instruction in English, health, and agriculture. The elderly enjoy the social interaction with the young people. With each visit, hearts are warmed and spirits are lifted. As of July 2016, after just 1 year of operation, the Village Angels has reached out to 2 remote villages, Kasulo and Ruwakalamela, where 70 elderly residents receive care from 16 youths. Sister Dativa oversees the daily activities of the youths and accompanies them on their weekly visits to the elderly. Onions, Chinese cabbage, potatoes, and beans planted by the youths first supply food to the elderly, and then any excess is sold at local markets, producing modest revenues for the program. Hundreds of banana plants have been planted, awaiting their fruit in 1 year. Dozens of hand-woven straw baskets and trivets made by the youths are currently for sale in the States, with more on the way. 66 hand-built beds are being delivered in the first year to the elderly by the men in the program. Along with the beds, mattresses, pillows, and sheets were also supplied. The elderly of the program had never slept on anything but the ground before. All of them also received washing basins, eating utensils, and buckets to carry their water. A study is underway to identify the nutritional deficiencies and health problems of the elders resulting from a consistently limited and unbalanced diet. The hope is to improve the elders' physical status through new sound nutritional practices. As with most important undertakings, the Village Angels of Tanzania's success thus far is a result of many people linking their arms and hearts to achieve a common goal. We are dedicated to caring for the abandoned elderly poor and the at-risk unemployed young people of one of the most remote and underprivileged regions of Tanzania. We are just ordinary people trying to achieve extraordinary accomplishments. On behalf of everyone in the program, I thank you for listening to our young story.
God, let them keep coming. Welcome, welcome.
Mmeshukuru.
Yeah,
Mmeshukuru kwa Mwenyezi.
Asante, ikarege.
Manimba sima kweli.
Yeah.
Your heart. Mungu abateo.